Elon Musk's appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert was supposed to be a captivating conversation about the future, technology, and Mars. But what unfolded shocked millions watching across the globe. Things started lightheartedly, as Colbert joked about electric cars and space rockets, eliciting laughter from the audience. Musk, calm and smiling, played along. But as the interview progressed, Colbert began pressing harder, challenging Musk on topics that clearly touched the nervy labor conditions at Tesla, the implications of AI, and his volatile social media presence. The shift in tone was subtle but unmistakable. Musk's responses grew more clipped, his smile faded, and the tension between host and guest thickened. Viewers could sense something building beneath the surface. A confrontation slowly brewing. What was meant to be a showcase of brilliance turned into one of the most controversial moments in late-night history, and no one was prepared for how it would end. Stephen Colbert, known for his intelligent humor and pointed interviews, brought up Musk's recent public comments about politics and freedom of speech. He asked pointedly whether billionaires should have such influence over digital platforms and free discourse. Musk, clearly irritated, fired back that he was protecting freedom, not suppressing it. The atmosphere turned icy. Colbert then pulled out a recent tweet of Musk's that had drawn criticism and asked whether he stood by it. Musk's face tensed. "I think it's important that people aren't censored just because the media doesn't agree," Musk said, clearly annoyed. Colbert nodded but countered with concerns about misinformation and public responsibility. The studio was silent. The tension on stage was electric. Musk adjusted his jacket, leaned forward, and replied in a low voice, "You don't get to define what's responsible, Stephen." The line drew gasps from the crowd. This was no longer a standard interview. It was a battle of ideas, egos, and influence. Musk's irritation only grew as Colbert continued questioning the ethics behind some of his ventures, especially Neuralink and its long-term implications. "You're talking about putting chips in human brains," Colbert said. "Do you think the public is truly ready for that?" Musk defended the tech fiercely, stating it could cure neurological diseases and help people with disabilities. "This isn't sci-fi," Musk said. "This is real science with real benefit." But Colbert wasn't convinced. "Sure, but isn't there also a risk of abuse? A power like that, in the wrong hands, could be dangerous." Musk's tone sharpened. "Everything has risk. So does driving a car. Should we stop that too?" The mood soured. Musk was now visibly annoyed, tapping his fingers on the desk. The playful sparring had evolved into something much more serious, and the audience could feel the heat rising. This wasn't a friendly debate anymore. It was a full-blown clash. What really pushed things over the edge, however, was when Colbert touched on Musk's workplace culture. He referenced reports of long hours, staff burnout, and high expectations at Tesla and SpaceX. "Is changing the world worth pushing your employees to the brink?" he asked. Musk's eyes narrowed. "That's sensationalized nonsense," he said flatly. "We work hard because what we're building matters." Colbert responded calmly, "No doubt, but don't you think leadership should come with empathy, not just ambition?" Musk's posture stiffened. He accused Colbert of misrepresenting his companies and twisting the narrative. The host tried to maintain composure, but Musk's words were cutting. "If people want to build rockets and change the world, they should expect to sacrifice." "We're not running a summer camp," Musk said. The audience was stunned. Colbert blinked, taken aback by the sudden aggression. It was clear now that this wasn't going to end peacefully. Then came the final straw. Colbert mentioned criticisms Musk had received from fellow scientists and tech experts, calling some of his projects reckless and unregulated. "Even some of your peers worry that you're moving too fast," Colbert said. Musk, now visibly fuming, removed his mic earpiece. "I don't need to sit here and be insulted," he said coldly. The audience gasped. Colbert attempted to salvage the moment, saying, "I'm just asking questions that people are talking about." Musk shook his head. "No, you're spinning narratives. There's a difference." He stood up. Cameras kept rolling. Colbert said, "You're free to go, Elon, but I think this could have been a real conversation." Without another word, Musk walked off stage. The audience didn't know whether to clap or remain silent. The host looked into the camera, visibly shaken, and said, "Well, that was unexpected." It would become one of the most unforgettable moments in talk show history. Within minutes, The clip was viral. Social media exploded with reactions, with hashtags like #MuskWalkout and #ColbertConfrontation trending worldwide. Fans of Musk praised him for standing up to what they saw as media provocation. Others criticized him for lacking the composure to face difficult questions. The media split in opinion as some blamed Colbert for pushing too hard, while others argued that Musk couldn't handle criticism. Meanwhile, analysts and PR experts debated whether the incident would hurt Musk's public image or somehow strengthen it. "This is Elon Musk," one commentator said. "He thrives in chaos." Still, even longtime supporters were surprised by the abruptness of the exit. The walk-off became meme fodder, endlessly dissected and debated. Some saw it as a masterclass in personal boundaries, others a meltdown in real time, but no one could deny its impact. It was a moment that blurred the lines between media, power, and personality. In the days that followed, both men addressed the situation. Colbert opened his next show by clarifying that his questions were based on public interest, not personal attack. "I have great respect for Elon," he said, "but I also have a job to ask tough questions." Musk, on the other hand, took to Twitter now to air his grievances. "That wasn't an interview," he wrote. "That was an ambush." He later claimed he had been misled about the tone of the segment. Supporters echoed his sentiment, saying late-night shows were becoming platforms for political agendas. Critics pushed back, arguing that billionaires must be held accountable, especially when their actions affect millions. The internet was split. Fans on both sides argued endlessly in comment sections and video breakdowns. Podcasts analyzed the moment frame by frame. It had become more than an awkward interview. It was a culture war flashpoint, with Musk and Colbert as symbolic opponents. Behind the scenes, producers from The Late Show were reportedly in damage control mode. Sources claimed there had been tension even before filming started. Musk had reportedly asked for certain topics to be avoided, but the show's editorial team refused to make those guarantees. "We don't do scripted interviews," a staff member allegedly said. As followed grew, advertisers watched carefully. Some brands paused sponsorships while gauging public response, yet ratings for the episode spiked dramatically. Clips from the show broke records on YouTube and social media platforms. Other talk show hosts chimed in, some defending Colbert, others warning Musk to expect pushback when entering media spaces. Industry insiders speculated that Musk might now avoid traditional press altogether, choosing instead to stick to his own platforms where he could control the narrative. But for now, all eyes remained glued to the moment of one unscripted spark that set fire to the cultural landscape. Musk's team released a short statement days later, calling the incident a miscommunication and expressing regret that the interview did not continue. But the damage, or perhaps the drama, was already done. Colbert's show issued no apology, stating that open dialogue sometimes leads to disagreement and that the public has the right to see both sides. Editorials filled columns in newspapers and magazines, some praising Colbert's professionalism, others condemning Musk's sensitivity. The event had become more than news up. It was a test of how ideas and personalities clash under bright lights. It reminded the public that conversations with powerful figures are rarely simple, and that sometimes truth doesn't come with applause. Whether the confrontation will change how Musk appears in media going forward remains to be seen. But one thing was certain: the moment had left a permanent mark on both the media and everyone watching. As time passed, the noise began to settle, but the moment remained burned in public memory. It was no longer just a talk show incident. It had become a symbol of modern discourse, the tension between journalism and power, celebrity and responsibility. Elon Musk, once again, had proved that he is no ordinary guest, and Stephen Colbert had proven that he was no ordinary host. In a world where conversations are often filtered and safe, this one had been raw, uncomfortable, and real. It raised questions that no press release could answer and reminded audiences that the future isn't just about technology, it's also about how we talk about it. Whether you sided with Musk or Colbert, you couldn't deny that what happened on that stage was authentic. And sometimes, that's the most powerful thing television can deliver. One fiery conversation, one dramatic exit, and suddenly, everyone was talking about what really matters.